Leather Museum was opened in 1988 by Princess Anne, so we've been going nearly 27 years, and it's a wonderful Victorian factory built in 1891. It's got a lot of character, a lot of atmosphere, and we've restored historic workshops, and we've got displays about the trade.
And you know, leather has extreme significance in Walsall. How does the museum, you know, portray that? Well,
it's a big part of Walsall's history, and I think local people are very proud of it. It's been a big part of the town's story for over 200 years, and Walsall is unique in the world as the centre of the saddlery industry. Nowhere else, anywhere in the world, makes as many saddles as Walsall does, and these are literally exported to every corner of the globe. So that's something that we're really proud of.
Is Walsall still making saddles then?
Walsall is still making saddles. Nobody's quite sure how many are made in the town, but there's about 30 companies. So it's amazing. There's a town in India that is a major centre as well, but Walsall probably still has the claim to be the world centre. And this is top quality stuff, saddles used by the Royal Family, saddles used by top show jumpers, equipment used by the British Olympic equestrian team. You know, it's top notch stuff. It's really top quality, and it goes all over the world.
That's fantastic. And I mean, back in the day, the saddling and leather industry must have been a huge employment opportunity, mustn't it?
It was very important in the local trade. The saddlery trade always was very closely connected with local metal trades. So Walsall was able to give the complete package. So you had all the leather work for the saddles and the bridles, and then all the metal work that went with it, so the buckles and the stirrups and the bits. And so it was the complete package, and this was Walsall's great, unique selling point, if you like.
And have you been doing anything to celebrate Black Country Day? Because it's Black Country Day today.
We have. We've had some workshops and activities on in the museum today, and we're very proud of our part in Black Country's history. I would say it is important because it's the town's identity. It's Walsall's unique selling point, if you like. It's what makes Walsall different to other towns around the country and around the world, and it's very much part of the local identity, and I think it's a source of huge pride for people. And I think in a world that's increasingly bland and uniform, it's really important to celebrate those things that make your town unique and special.
I mean, obviously it used to be a massive industry, like you said, it still is, but why do you think there's I mean, myself, I didn't know that Walsall was still a big, saddle. Why do you think, it's not really celebrated anymore?
Yes, I think perhaps we're not terribly good at shouting and boasting in this country about our achievements, and but overseas people really rate it. There are companies in Walsall that are much bigger brand names in, say, Japan than they are in this country, and there's a particular company in Aldridge which is selling everything it can make, and it can't keep up with demand. It's a big brand name in Japan. Very few people have heard it in this country. So, there are countries around the world where people really value what we make here and really value that made in England brand and the quality of what's made here and the craftsmanship, which is fantastic.
And like you said, they go all over the world. For people who might not know, typically how much would a saddle like this cost?
A good quality saddle could be upwards of £2,000, £3,000, and it depends on the leather, it depends on the special features, it depends obviously whether it's a bespoke saddle made to measure to the individual horse. Basically the sky's the limit with saddles, but that's the sort of price bracket you're looking in for a good quality saddle.
So obviously the saddlers around Walsall, they can come out as well and fit it to your horse, like you said.
There are saddlers who will do that, yes, absolutely, and do that with pleasure.
So also moving back to the Leather Museum now, so the Leather Museum in itself, it is based in a saddlery, isn't it?
It's a Victorian factory, and it was originally two factories. One made leather stirrups and straps, and the other part of the building made the metalwork, the bits and the stirrups. So we've got the two stories, the two halves of the trade, nicely combined in the one building. And it was beautifully restored by the council back in the 1980s. And so when you walk around the museum, you'll actually see period workshops and see people actually making things, and probably, all being well, have a chance to have a go yourself. And that's one of our special things that we can offer schools. The kids come in and they actually have a chance to make things, which is really important.
I mean, we'll talk later a bit more about the children's visits and everything, but so do you still make and sell saddles, or do you just make them for show now there?
We don't make any saddles ourselves, because with 30 saddlers in the town, it would be crazy for us to try and compete. So we're more educational, really. We're more about trying to tell the story of the trade, how things are made, why they're made in the particular way they're made, and trying to explain that. We wouldn't be wanting to try and compete with the local factories. They do that very well. You'd come into what we call our Introductory Gallery, and that sort of explains something why there's a leather industry in Walsall, which is a curious story, and then something of the story of the restoration of the building, which was derelict when the council acquired it, and how they went about restoring it and turning it into the museum. There's then a gallery with various saddles from past and present, and then we come into the first of the workshops, and we've got what we call the Tannery Gallery, which sort of explains how leather is actually processed and made. So working from the raw animal skins through to the finished product.
Okay.
And we have a wonderful demonstration there called Ron Hawkins, who is 90 in August, and he's had, I think, probably 76 years in the trade, and his knowledge is phenomenal, and he loves talking about how, his skills and showing the different processes of how the leather's actually processed and dyed and coloured, and how it's dressed with the various oils and waxes and so on. It's very skilled work, and he tries and simplifies it down a bit, so that's absolutely fascinating. And then after that you'll find galleries where we've got exhibits showing really how the trade developed over the years, from the early period in the Middle Ages, when it was bits and stirrups and spurs, through to saddlery, and then in more recent years how what was called light leather goods developed, which is bags and wallets and purses.
So what do you offer for schools at the museum?
We try to offer them very much a hands-on experience, so they do get a bit of talking at as well, but the main emphasis is on them actually having a go at making things and trying it out for themselves. So they might come in, they might do a Viking pouch, a Viking purse, which they have to sew themselves. They might make a leather teddy bear. They might, depends on the age level and the skill level, but we try and tailor it to every school group. So if a teacher comes to us and says we're doing this particular subject, Tudors and Stuarts, what can you do? We'll say, actually we can help you make a leather tankard or a leather whatever. So we try to be very responsive and to the individual teacher.
And how important is it to get, when we talked earlier about getting people to celebrate the leather industry, how important is it to educate the children of Walsall?
I think it's really important to give people a sense of pride in the town, and I think people do have this, but I think it's really important to foster that and to encourage it, and to say that Walsall is an amazing place. It has a unique tradition. It has these amazing skills. I mean, world-beating skills, and it's all here in Walsall, and we should be really proud of it. And I think if we can encourage kids to have a real sense of pride in the area, I think that goes a long way to solving some of the problems we were hearing about vandalism and graffiti. And if you're proud of the town you live in and you've grown up in, then you're going to take care of it.
And is there a charge to enter the museum?
It's free admission, and most of our activities are free. We've got lots of activities all through the summer holidays, lots of things for children. Pretty much every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday throughout the summer holidays, we've got things going on. Some of them you need to book, so have a look on our website. Most of them you don't have to book for, you can just turn up and have a go. And
I believe you've got a particular day in August that you've got.
Our big event, our biggest day of the year, is the Family Fun Day, which is on August bank holiday the 31st, and that's always a huge day, and we have entertainers in, and I shall probably be standing there all day making badges, so I'll get repetitive strain injury. Kids can have a go at making all sorts of things.
Perfect. And just finally, I know you wanted to say you're looking for volunteers as well, aren't you?
We are always looking for volunteers. Retired leather workers are very welcome. We're also looking for volunteer gardeners. If you fancy coming in, spending half an hour a week helping us out with the gardens, we'd love to hear from you.